Andy is joining in a second here. Yeah.
We on?
Yeah. I think it's working.
Where's the YouTube link? I want to see.
I think it's like a second behind, but
Oh, I see. I have it in
yeah.
Discord. Oh, so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Hi, Paul. We on?
Yeah. I think it's.
Oh, it's weird feedback
Where's the
live.
YouTube
Sorry.
Yeah, you gotta mute your. If you're watching in the background, you gotta mute it. But
Oh, wow.
so Paul commented earlier. He's not awake.
Oh, cool. You have to show me how to set this up for story hour. This would be great. I mean, it's no different than Crowdcast, huh? But it's a better.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, what's nice about it is that it converts it to a video right on your YouTube channel. I think that's the advantage. So you don't have to, you could edit, I guess, after the fact if you want to. But
Oh, I see what it is. You edit the video and put it out afterwards.
yeah, it just immediately becomes a video.
Cool.
Nate is actually watching, and when it went live, I didn't say anything, and he said it's compelling right off the bat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just joking around. He's
so funny. Oh, we should
appreciate him joining.
Hey, Nate. How's it going? Hello. Yeah, let's get to it, man.
Yeah.
You want to do introduction and what's your inspiration behind this all?
Yeah. So I was thinking. What?
Your desktop is just video call?
Yeah, so I'm going to share.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that way people can see, right? Because I'm streaming us.
Oh, okay.
But
you have to get out the other stuff later then, I guess. Like trim off the other stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, the idea with the podcast, comes from those conversations where you always say to somebody, you remember that one shot from that one movie, right? So that was always the way that my brother and I would like talk about stuff and like, reference things and whatnot. So that's kind of where the name came from. And then it's, the podcast is a film club, basically just talking about movie in general and maybe breaking down specific moments from movies that you remember that one shot. So, things like certain images that really stand out to you, like Once Upon a Time in the West, some of those, images just like ingrained in your head. And Minority Report, there's that one shot towards the end where Tom Cruise is looking the opposite way of the other. So it's like things like that where you're like, they just sit on it and that that's the shot they were going for.
Yeah, I can think of a bunch of movies that have like certain shots that I go to. Like immediately when you would bring up, like, think of this one movie, then there's like a shot that I'll think of right away.
Yeah, exactly. And it can also be a moment. It doesn't have to be cinematography, a visual based thing. But yeah.
Here's a quick question for you, Maurice.
Yes.
When you're boarding, do you think of like, oh, this is that one shot for you, like that you're like, this is the one I want people to remember?
I don't know if I have that at the top of my head when I'm, building out a scene or coming up with it. But I think at some point I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the kind of character moment I want to show. And I kind of get the cool hero shot, maybe you could say. I do try to go for that. And yeah, I mean, whenever I'm working and looking at reference, I go back to those one shots that I think of. Nate's done a good job of like explaining that, he says it's like the money shot. He builds up to it in his scenes. So I think that's a great way to put it, is like, this is like, what's the one thing you want your audience to like remember from this, or like, what's most impactful?
I mean, here's to build off on that question then. So yeah, we've talked about this before. So usually like with shots, it's either, and also I'm helping a friend out on an independent film, and she wants to be more animation inspired in terms of composition. So like with limited animation, we talk about Evangelion, where like the composition holds the shot.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the point of view that holds the shot. So for you, do you prefer, when you guys are talking about money shot, like you and Nate, is it the composition then? Or is it like the point of view shot of the context of the meaning of that shot? I mean, obviously it ties in all together, but sometimes the main composition, which is like a more wider shot versus like a closer shot.
That's a good question. I think it's more of a POV, like what's the moment about kind of thing. At least in one of our recent reviews, I was remembering like a shot that Nate pointed out, and I was like, oh,
Mhm.
that's very cool. Like, you know, the audience is like, fuck yeah, kind of thing. So, um, yeah, I think it's more of a POV and character moment. But
Mm.
that's an interesting thing to think about.
I think of composition. That's why.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but that goes. I guess that
Yeah,
goes hand in hand with like making a good shot. Um,
but you're right. I'm thinking about 1917. There's a
yeah.
shot
Oh,
that's
that's a great. Oh, we should do an episode on that. That
actually
would
yeah,
be.
that's a good one. Because
That's a
I
great one.
the there's a shot that I'll never forget, but it's a point of view shot. But it's what he sees. Like it's that reveal, right? That's the money shot.
Yeah.
It's the part the guy wakes up from after getting shot in the head, and he looks out the window, and it's nighttime, and the shadows are cascading across the ground because of the explosions.
Oh,
I saw that on like I think 70 millimeter or whatever in theaters. I was like, this
jeez.
is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be an interesting one because it's not. I mean, obviously, it's like a few shots, you know, and that but like certain moments and things, right? Because they stop at some point. Yeah,
Mhm.
that'd be a great. Because then we can also look at all the behind the scenes and see how they
Oh yeah,
like did all the camera movements and stuff. Like that would be a really fun one to break down.
oh yeah. Let's see how that next. All right,
Yeah.
let's get going.
Yeah. So Deadpool and Wolverine. Well, this is a fun one to start off because it's very recent, big in the news. I will share my screen. So I put a Google slide deck together, which is in the description of the YouTube video, and this will just have some general. Um,
Wait, is that sorry? Is that Nate's Vlog document?
I don't know. Let me see.
How's those revisions, Maurice? What does that mean?
Oh my god, yeah, okay, that's definitely him. So that's just my director chiming in, seeing what I'm up to this evening. Um,
Yeah, Nate would
yeah,
go off on a great tangent with these shots.
yeah. No, we'll definitely have to have him on. I'm sure he would like to hang out. He'll pick an '80s action movie we've never seen. That'd be a lot of fun. Because that, yeah, part of the other aspect is like to actually watch other movies that maybe someone's not seen. And if we do it in group settings, that could be pretty cool too. Because we'll have so many people that have not seen a film and be like, "This was really interesting," etc. That kind of stuff.
That would be fun to let the people know the movie ahead of time so they can watch it, like you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. No, the guests will pick the film. That's the idea. Yeah.
Oh,
Kind of like Movie Crush. I don't know if you've heard that podcast from Stuff You Should Know. They always have the guest choose the film.
mm.
But yeah, so there's I've added just a few bullet points and the synopsis here. If you're not familiar with the film, oh yeah, and this is all spoilers. Preface that, yeah, this is not something where you need to see the movie before joining on the podcast. But yeah, basically, Deadpool is told his universe is gonna die, and because they're Wolverine from the Logan movie, which is completely tied into the whole film, um, has died, and then therefore he is the anchor being, which I was kind of confused at what that was, but they kind of went off with that. And then he's presented the option to join the MCU or save his actual universe, and so he goes around looking for a Wolverine that can replace the one that's died. I think the biggest news about the film is probably because it was the fastest grossing rated R movie.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy, and it's the highest one now of all time. So it's beaten Oppenheimer and what was number two?
Wasn't Passion of the Christ one of them? Passion of the Christ was like a billion-dollar rated R movie. Is it
Joker is number two.
Joker is number two.
Yeah, then Oppenheimer. You can't see my list here, but Oppenheimer, then Deadpool two, and then the first Deadpool was 5. So it's yeah, this character has a good track record for sure.
It's so crazy because the character is like, yeah, it's just such a different antithesis to all these other Marvel characters, but yet it rakes in so much money.
Yeah, yeah, the humor is definitely and I think it just him poking fun at everybody. But yeah, budget was 200 million. So I think it. I was reading that it went up for every film. You know, it started at 60 million for the first Deadpool, and so with this one, they clearly went all out. The marketing campaign, which we talked about, is insane. I think this link here is an article to Deadline, just talking about that, which is pretty interesting. It's a good read.
The town episode with is it Assad? Who's like the marketing person for Disney. And there was an episode.
Oh yeah. Yes, that I should link that in here too. Yeah, that's great because they talked about that. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that campaign was hilarious. Like all of the different things, like the K-pop thing that you showed me. I mean, just things you wouldn't expect, and like the Heineken commercial where at the very end Ryan Reynolds is like, "This is not a real product. Please don't sue us." And yeah, it's so funny.
Even like he was even smart. I know he has like his football team, and he brought Deadpool out on that football field. You know.
Oh, right. And yeah, Wales. Yeah. Which was my favorite Deadpool, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because because I've been watching their documentary series on their club team, and one of the Deadpools had the Welsh flag, which is that dragon on it, and I was like, okay, that's his co-owner. You know, So Always Sunny in Philly. So I thought that was funny. And he in the Wrexham FC documentary, he actually has his friend come to the set, and he's completely dressed up. Or he's dressed up, but they've got the coat over him, so you can't see what he's going as, and they're joking about what character he is. And then now that I saw that, and then saw the Welsh, so Paul will appreciate that because he's Welsh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, probably his favorite Deadpool too.
Yeah. And so I was reading a bit about this, but apparently it wasn't always Deadpool and Wolverine. So I think they started developing this film in 2022. And then only in like late 23, Hugh Jackman like suggested that it would be Wolverine could fit in, and that immediately like it was like they were apparently going into a meeting with Kevin Feige, who's the head film guy at Marvel, and they were like, he was under the impression that they didn't have anything, they couldn't develop the script, and then they actually pitched Wolverine being in it, and that kind of like changed it, and then they started shooting.
I mean, the pitch was like, or the way that he described it was really, because it's always like, how do you like make it clear for people, right? So he was like, it's planes, trains, and automobiles, but Wolverine and Deadpool. And
oh
like,
yeah, that's.
I get it,
Yeah, that's great.
So it's really smart. I think I think I really got to get to Ron Reynolds in his interviews. He's very smart in terms of like, he's like, we have to make this really relatable to the characters, or to the audience, or to the audience.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, totally. And then here I've just listed a bunch of behind the scenes videos, some other scenes, and I'll add to this when more stuff comes out, more featurettes, and also Ryan Reynolds, like Instagram is a huge source of seeing things and whatnot. All the IMDb stuff, all the info is here. Wikipedia actually has like a ton of info on it, which is kind of cool. So that's always a good read if you want to know how a movie unfolds. And then we were just talking before this, and you brought up the 4 quadrants thing, which I was just reading on, and yeah, it totally hit every quadrant probably.
I mean, because Ryan Reynolds was saying like I think it was either an interview on the Hot Ones or the Collider, or like that one of that that kind of media news outlet or podcast, whatever. He said we basically made a rated R 4-quadrant film, and he's like, it's a rated R movie that I would take my kids to, and I was like, oh, that's really smart in terms of what he did, taking that Disney brand, which is very 4-quadrant, but it's still making it accessible despite being a rated R film.
Yeah, and I was listening to another podcast today, and they were talking about, no, it was an interview with them, and they were like, what is the age range that you would advise? And it's like, basically don't bring a 3-year-old and don't bring your 95-year-old like grandparents. But what's interesting is like, if you're not in our age range who know all of these cameos, some of these jokes and cameos wouldn't land as well. So it's
Yeah,
all like you kind of have to be late 20s to mid 40s to like have grown up and
yeah,
seen all
yeah,
the other X-Men's. But I mean, if you're a 15-year-old and you've watched everything since you've been
yeah.
on Disney Plus, you could also get it all.
Well, especially like all the people that grew up at Fox Marvel, the original
Right.
X.
Yeah.
This movie is very much like paying homage to that movie, right? Kind of
Yeah.
wrapping up all that stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, how old is? I mean, Blade is an older movie, right?
Oh yeah, Blade is like Blade was one of the first Marvel films.
98. Yeah. Yeah. Hell, I was 6 years old. I definitely did not see that then. Cool. Well, yeah, we can go ahead and start talking about, our one shot. I just have a few screen grabs here from IMDb just for
Yeah,
the sake of the background. But so, what was your most memorable shot or something that stuck with you?
I mean, the most memorable shots is, I think we can agree on that this one too. It's like that the long tracking shot, right, on the bus.
Yeah.
And he's very, I think, Old Boy, right, inspired that one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good reference.
Also, I just love Gambit. I love Channing Tatum as Gambit. But
Yeah.
just like my one shot would be just on Channing Tatum just being comedic relief, for
Yeah.
the character. But just seeing Gambit doing his magic stuff in the choreography was really fun too.
That was pretty cool. That character has never been on screen before. Is that right?
No, it has. It was on like one of the other Wolverine movies, but I think that Taylor Kish play.
Oh, it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was reading Shannon always wanted to be Gambit. Okay, that makes more sense.
Uh, the car fight scene is great too, like in the honest.
Yes,
Other
yeah,
two.
that was also a great example of a prop you show earlier on,
Yeah.
and then it and then it reoccurs or makes an appearance. So I thought that was funny. Like it had to be on Odyssey.
I mean, do you catch in the interviews where they talk about other fight choreography, where it's like they want to find like fun settings for it, to play around with. So they're like, we have these like vast, big settings, so let's put it in a small, like intimate setting, So
Yeah,
it makes it very interesting to
it's a
play with the environment.
huge creative challenge to get people to do things inside a car. Yeah. Um,
What about for yourself?
yeah, I think the tracking shot was big, especially from a visual effects standpoint. That was like, you know, that took a lot of time and money to probably do. And but since you go with that one, I I think the one where they're fighting in the very beginning with the 20th Century Fox environment, and
Oh, the
then
credit. Yeah, that was really good. Fun
yeah,
too.
and there's the one shot where Wolverine stepping over the camera and Deadpool's in the background, and then the bullets that Deadpool
Oh
just
yeah,
put in him are dropping out. I thought that was neat because it kind of shows two things happening in one shot, and you don't have to show the bullets necessarily coming out of him. So it's pretty clever
Um,
shot.
the montage sequence is fun. How it paid homage to the comics, finding the right Wolverine, or
Oh,
finding.
where he goes between the different one. Yeah. Yeah. So that
Uh,
kind of leads us into cameos, unless you want to talk about.
well, I mean, there's one that it's out there already. It's like the Cavalry.
Yes, I
Yeah.
I was kind of sold. I was like, oh man, he could totally do that.
Um, and then I love the shot with the Hulk on the reflecting off the claws. That was cool.
Yeah. Was that during the montage thing?
Yeah, yeah. It's when he's wearing his brown suit. I forgot the comic creator or the John,
Oh.
the brown and yellow suit.
I'm trying to remember that. There's
Yeah, the John Byrne Wolverine,
okay.
the classic like orange and or brown and orange suit. Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah. There were so many cameos in that fight scene outside the dead Ant-Man, the parrot like what's that place
Yes.
called? Para
Void or
Purgatory or whatever. Like, I didn't even like I didn't know half of them, but then also I just didn't even like Olivia Munn was in there, and I didn't. I must have missed it.
Olivia Munn was in it?
Yeah, she was apparently in that fight scene.
No. Did she even talk about it? I haven't seen her like in what?
Yeah, there's like a whole. I'm pretty sure there's like a whole. I think I put it in the
Are you sure it was
yeah,
her?
45 Easter eggs, and yeah, let me see if I can share. I'll change. Present something else. Share.
I thought
Jennifer
there was
Garner.
I thought there was a Psylocke character, but wasn't played by her.
Oh, is that? Oh, this blew my mind because you
Oh
could.
no way!
Yeah, you couldn't understand anyone that was in the other Deadpools, but he was actually the cowboy one, which is pretty
No
funny.
way!
This one, I didn't know what the head pool. Well, the head pool is just the one
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
floating or whatever. But I didn't. This didn't register either. But that's cool. Um, yeah, Wolverine, Hulk. Yeah, you mentioned that one. The short Wolverine. I didn't. I'm
Yeah.
not totally versed in the comics, so I didn't get every single thing. But
That's his actual height in the comics. That's why.
actually,
Yeah.
so is this short Wolf standing 5'3"?
Yeah, that's like Wolverine's actual height.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. I didn't. I would never have guessed that.
Yeah, if you look up Google Wolverine height, Wikipedia, he's 5'3".
Oh man. Well, that would make him more nimble, like a badger.
Really?
She pops up in the fight scene. Yeah, Cassandra Nova's force. Yeah, and I, I mean, maybe it's like a shot where she's not.
Could be one of those things where it's like, I'm wondering if they shot extra footage and Bart didn't make it the cut, and she's in the background just a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, she's just, and there's other characters. And these are all props and stuff.
I saw Lady Deathstrike was in it, but I think
Yeah, I remember that.
these are
Oh,
different.
her. I don't remember her character. X-Men Last Stand. Actually, I kind of, now that I look at this, I kind of remember from that movie. But yeah, she was also in the fight, or in the henchman. So in the void. Sorry. Yeah,
Oh,
pretty crazy. Like
yeah,
everyone
more.
they could really think of, and from the Fox days.
Yeah.
Um, but
I mean, Daphne Keane as X-23 bringing back her was great too. Let's see where she was in. Yeah, it's a fun movie.
yeah, yeah. Was there? You saw it opening weekend or
It's
the
not the same
weekend?
way.
Second
Second
weekend? I'm sure the theaters are packed in LA.
Uh, Mine was mid. I went to like a theater out in suburbia, so it wasn't. I was
Okay.
like,
Oh, you weren't in like Pasadena or town. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
but it was fun. I mean, are we allowed to talk about like reviews of the story?
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's not like I wouldn't think we're like giving it ratings and stuff, but I think it's worth, because it's a filmmaking podcast, so it's worth pointing out some story things, and because there's some
I,
things that I didn't quite get while I was watching it. I had to read stuff afterwards. But yeah, go ahead.
some of the logic of like this stuff was a bit not a strong enough why for me, but I like we talked about before. I think the plot is a device to serve the characters,
Mm-hmm.
bring
Sure.
all the cameos, everyone into it. Um, but so which is fine. Like that's what the movie is for me.
Yeah.
So I get why like the bad guy had the antagonist wasn't very strong. Was my kind of on the movie. But again, the whole point is like you're seeing Wolverine and Deadpool together, and seeing that chemistry come alive.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like well, it's funny because in an interview, Ryan Reynolds was asked, "Are you going to do Deadpool 4?" And he was like, "Hell no." But I don't think there's any way they're gonna not do one. I don't know. It'd be hard to
But
get
I
out
mean,
of.
I do love how self-aware the movie is in terms of like I'm surprised they were like, oh, this you joined in at a low point, of the
Yeah,
Marvel. So
yeah, it's
uh,
yeah. They were free to say basically anything, um, which is pretty interesting. Like the first, not just the staring at the camera like fourth wall jokes, but the when he's being told that his universe is going to shit, and then he's like, wait, give me 1 second, and he like walks backwards and then grabs the camera and says like whatever to Fox or something, and you're just like, wow, okay, like it's they really like elevated that fourth wall thing, which was prominent throughout the movie. It's pretty funny.
um,
um
I mean, did you watch Loki?
I actually have not seen the series. I've heard it's good though, right?
I the second season was really cool. I liked it a lot. But reason being is that you'll see a lot of the callbacks, like a lot of the stuff that's like the void, how the world like falls apart, unravels.
Okay,
Multiverse set up in Loki.
gotcha.
So I recommend if you want to check out, yeah, definitely check out watch like Loki season 1 and 2,
Yeah,
because Loki season 2 is a very different direction because they had different directors, so it had a very visually like shot in a different style.
right, right. Yeah, I heard it was pretty good, but I have not. I watched a bit of oh, what's the one? Moon Knight. Yeah, I watched the first season of Moon Knight, which I thought was pretty cool.
Moonlight,
Yeah, yeah, that had to do his whole like memory and having two different
yeah.
personalities. That was pretty interesting.
I mean,
Um,
I think when I watched the show, I was like, oh, this is a very smart pitch because like it's Indiana Jones meets Fight Club meets
yeah,
Fight Club.
yeah,
I'm like, I totally see it when you say it like that.
yeah. The sense of adventure was there, which is very cool, and the dichotomy between a capable and a person
Mhm.
trying to figure it out was sweet too. Um, yeah. So let's see. I think there were a couple other things. I think yeah, I kind of wanted to show some behind the scenes stuff.
Oh
So
yeah,
let me scroll. Let me switch
man.
tabs.
A lot of like, I remember I was watching a movie earlier this year. They had the trailer for like, oh, don't use your phones, like, oh, please silence your phones.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, it seemed like they're shooting this as they're shooting the Deadpool movie. And it was right when before they went into that chamber.
Wait, which chain? Oh,
The chamber at the end when he's like down the sewer
yeah,
tunnels.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm
Yes,
like, wait,
yes.
I recognize this location. I was like, oh, because they shot the please silence your phone ad right here. So I
That's
think they were very smart in terms of like, oh, let's like I really gotta get to Ron Reynolds as a business person. Like let's just like they found certain moments like let's add this in to shoot to reuse for like marketing later on.
yeah.
Uh,
And on that note, there were not too many locations for this whole movie,
yes.
which is also very interesting. Because it was the apartment, the exterior of the apartment, that street, which was also the Deadpool's fight,
Yep.
and that was outside the TVA. You had the TVA, like
Headquarters.
headquarters in that little interrogation room. Then you had the Void, which had like two or three
Yeah.
or four. The Corn, yeah. So it wasn't like Inception or Tenet from Chris
Yeah.
Nolan, right? So,
Two locations, yeah.
yeah, so they were
And then
pretty.
there's like the Honda car dealership, which is like a
Yeah,
small one.
right.
Uh,
Yeah,
no, you're
and they
right.
came back to that one too
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
fell through the portal and they landed there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Peter
so
had to know, I guess. Yeah,
I don't. Nothing is wasted once, right? Everything was used at least one, well,
yeah,
2 times.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, really smart,
yeah. Because they
efficient.
bought the car. That family bought that car, and then they just they just
Oh
totaled
yeah,
it. And then they were like, "Yeah, whatever, Honda." I forgot what they said, but they threw a joke in there, obviously, and then they ran away. And I think that's how their Peter friend, which I guess every Deadpool has a Peter friend. I didn't know that either, so I didn't get that joke. At the end of that fight scene, when they were like, "It's Peter," and they like all went and said, I was just like, "Okay, I get that they don't need to fight them anymore." Um,
yeah. That was just all right, let's moving the plot forward. Just move.
yeah,
move.
yeah. and it was, yeah, it had an interesting rhythm the whole film, because it was like character pieces and then an action piece, and the character, you know, it was, yeah.
Actually, you know what scene I really liked? When they're in the void and they're at the bar.
Yeah, that was cool.
I
Yeah.
really, because I love the blocking.
Mm,
Because like it starts with him sitting,
right.
either they're sitting together, but then eventually like he has, I think Logan steps away and sits at the bar, right?
Yes. He's searching for something, and then he goes sits down, and then he's just like, he says like "fuck you" after whatever Deadpool says, and then he gets up and goes and sits at the bar by himself. Yeah. Um, that also Hugh Jackman's performance was amazing,
Yes.
because the scene where right before they fight in the Honda Odyssey, he has his like whole, you know, spiel, and he gets angry at Deadpool and all of this stuff, and he like reminisces about his problems, and there's like just a over the shoulder on him, and you could just I was just like, wow, like this guy's pulling, you know, going all out for this kind of comedy movie, and that like really helps ground you into the story and like pulls you right back in. And when I was sitting there, and I was like, damn, I need to see Logan again, because that was just his, you know, Logan and his performance, and that everyone's performance in Logan was amazing. So that was Hugh definitely helped. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he used Logan's the voice of reason, right? Of this, you know, or like then the oddball character is Deadpool, so that contrast is really fun.
Yeah.
This theme was, I had fun with the dog too.
They say something here. I can.
If Cassandra feeds most of us.
Can you hear it?
I'll take one, eh, Mark? And action.
This is funny.
I'm the best service at what I do.
What
I do.
What?
Do you think he really read the line, or is it a joke?
I think this is a joke. Yeah. I don't think. I don't think this is in the movie.
You got it. Go ahead.
I'm the best service at what I do. But
Yeah,
what I
joke,
do
right? Because he's
isn't very nice.
Yeah.
Cut. You got it. Yeah. Great. Got it. And Brando was kind of an innovator.
Genius.
Yeah.
You fuckers. Fuck.
So here we can see the tracking shot a little bit that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, he's going at.
It's, you know what, I was just thinking, if you've ever recorded your own voiceover for your animatics and you did it after you've animated, like I do because I'm an idiot, this is so hard to like time everything. I wonder, so looking at this shot, I wonder how much are digi doubles and how much are like real actors, or do they?
I think these are actual people, because in the so when they do the portal shot, I was like, oh, it feels like there's so many Deadpools, and then they go to the actual realistic shot, and it felt small again. You know, so if you watch the movie again, you know, pay attention to that. I'm like, they made it feel a lot bigger when they were coming out of the portal, but then when they showed the wide establishing shot of them in like on that street, it felt small again. So I think it's more of like, obviously budget reasons, you know.
Yeah, because I feel like they would have shot the plate for real, and then maybe used
Afterwards, yeah,
and then had people like do the stunt performances on the street, so they had reference to animate. And then, because like, look, there's no shadows on them.
Oh yeah.
So I think this is like the previs or a pass of the. Well, it's definitely the animation. Actually, maybe the Deadpools are not real, like they're CGI, but they are real. I don't know. It's hard. I'm curious how they did that, because there's a lot of stuff. Because then at the end, because the camera like orbits around the end of the bus. And that's completely CGI.
Yeah, because there's a shot that I'm sure there's a shot that they stitched in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. They probably did a empty plate where they timed up the camera track. They did one with the stunts.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a mix. because I was watching behind the scenes of the first Deadpool when they were on the bridge shooting in Vancouver, and they did like a mix of stuff where they tried to like get as much real performances in, and if they couldn't, they just got a reference of an actor or stunt person doing it, and then
Hey there, welcome back to the
yeah,
Deadpool and Honey Badger podcast. Boy, the soundtrack for Deadpool and Wolverine is a real banger, am I right? Right on brand. He is awful at podcasting, but that's okay, because today we're here to listen. That's right. I've prepared a supercut of all of your grunting from the film.
Oh, God.
Just like that. That was, I believe, that one. Do we get that? That was a good one. Roll it. That was a good one.
Hey.
Yeah, not a good idea. No, we'll go with music from now on.
I hate you.
Oh.
I will say.
What?
You don't want to do
Shots
this.
of dance.
Oh, I promise you.
I think I'm the name of the song. Was it NSYNC?
Yeah, it was yeah, I forgot the name, but it was I linked in the slide deck. I linked the soundtrack playlist on YouTube.
Opposite of what big wireless.
Yeah, it was NSYNC Bye Bye Bye.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great in terms of setting the tone of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, we're in for this ride. And I was curious to see how they would honor Logan, because that like such a great send off,
Yeah.
But then they were like, no, let's lean into it the other way. Let's just demolish this.
I was totally surprised because I remember before it came out, they did like the interview and they were like, we're not touching that Logan. That Logan had its life. It's dead. It has nothing to do with that. And then they come here and they pull his body out. And I was like, hold on, this is kind of, you're kind of messing with it. But I mean, that was, like you said, it's just the opening hook for this set the tone. So yeah, it was pretty good.
What a fun thing.
That's my bad. Well, so what were we talking about?
Other fun shots. All the behind the scene ads. That was smart marketing.
Yeah.
That was great.
Quiet quitting. Look, the point is...
I'm out of
I'll
here.
start it from the beginning.
I can't do this.
Oh, no. Yes, you can.
What the hell am I even doing?
You're explaining to Bachelor Nation why our movie is the perfect date movie while holding this. Oh, I love the smell of sunflowers.
I'm not doing either of those.
Yes, you are, because you are a confident, powerful person, and 18 to 49-year-old women are super important demo for us. No cap.
What?
No cap.
What does that mean?
It's what all of my fellow Gen Zers say. Slay, FR, trauma, Genergy, 4-hour work week, quiet quitting. Look, the point is...
I'm outta here.
All right, stay off camera. I'll handle this. Hey, Nation. Deadpool here, again, to tell you that our movie has everything you love. We really zoom into complex relationship dynamics. There's ample amounts of cheeky humor. And in the end, well, I'm not gonna lie, it was quite a payday for us.
You promised me the Bachelorette was coming.
I made a lot of promises, buddy. And I'll tell you, you are delivering.
Come again.
What is this?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen.
Hey. Hi.
Oh yeah, no.
Got you something.
Oh. Tony Award bribes.
Whoa.
All right.
Wrong envelope.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's 2 tickets to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yep. Thought we could go together.
Not only was the marketing like pretty smart, but it was also an abundance. This movie had way more marketing than any other.
There was another movie he was in prior to Deadpool. I think it was the If movie that John Krasinski.
Oh, yeah.
And then they were saying like, it was in the Town podcast where the guy was like, oh, we noticed that Ron Reynolds is doing very limited, like, like marketing for this movie, and they're like, oh, it's because he's saving his face for when when Deadpool comes out. So I'm curious if he wrote that in his contract where he's like, oh, if this movie's like near my movie, I'm not gonna.
That's interesting. And he also, I mean, that was everywhere. I think that was NBC, like on Peacock and some. I was on a streaming app and they were sharing that movie left and right as well. But you're right. At some point when that movie, aired, it was like all Deadpool from there. But he's just great at marketing. Like even the phone company that he was a part of, Mint Mobile.
Yeah.
I mean, that shit was hilarious. I signed up for that shit in part of him. To be honest. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known if he hadn't have been doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it, and it uses the T-Mobile network. And then if you sign up for a year, it's $15 a month. And I was like, well, to hell with AT&T, because my family plan separated, so it was kind of like, I don't want to pay $75 a month. So, yeah.
He won you over.
Yeah. And it's great. It works fine. It works in places. It works in places where my family doesn't have service. So I'm just like, every time, I'm like, is Ryan Reynolds work out here? And that's the joke. So
he's doing, yeah. I'm sure he's picking like smart brands that he's like is willing to go for.
Yeah. Were there some plot? We were talking about plot stuff, and I think we might have sidetracked. So the conversation with Mr. Paradox and about the decision like he had to make, I kind of didn't get that in the moment. I think I was just listening to all the jokes where like I got that he was getting a Wolverine to like replace, but I didn't get why he didn't. I don't know, the option to go to the MCU, because it's like what he always wanted or something. But I guess that was the conflict, was like he had the ticket, but he didn't want to do it because all his friends would die and his love interest. So,
I mean, I have to rewatch the movie because like that part like didn't quite make sense to me either. Like, because there's that scene when he goes to Jon Favreau in the beginning.
Yes, right.
And that was because they put what Earth it was in, but I was like, which Earth is which? I was like, how did he hop to that Earth? And it had his he had the teleporter watch to go in different dimensions.
Right.
So I was like, so he hopped over to that world and asked to be part of something bigger. And they're like, oh no. Then they lay out the theme. It's like, no, you can't be in it. And he goes back to his world and he feels like rejected. So I have to rewatch that. That movie was $200 million. Jesus.
Yeah. Did he have that watch from before?
He got it from Cable.
What's Cable? Who's Cable?
Deadpool. I mean, Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay. So I think I forgot some of the.
Yeah, because that guy had that machine for like whether it was like time travel or whatever, multiverse.
Gotcha. Okay. So that was in chronological order in the events of the film. That
yeah, because remember at the end of Deadpool 2, like he gets that bracelet from Cable, and then he goes into like his old like the X-Men Origins like Wolverine, and he like his other version of himself with like the.
Yeah. Okay, I do kind of remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot he has that that thing.
Yeah, so Wikipedia has like a pretty detailed. It's not just a synopsis; it like tells you event by event. So yeah, the paradox that an anchor being cannot be replaced. When Wade deduces. Oh yeah, so then there was the quick moment where Deadpool realizes that he's like a middle manager, and he's doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing. That's what like makes him think, okay, I can actually save my universe by replacing this Wolverine, and I'm going to stop this paradox guy. But then he immediately sends him to the void.
Yeah, I have to read, because I think that was so much of a quick turn for me.
Yeah, I think it happened really fast.
Again, I think that was just stuff that just had to move the plot forward.
Yeah.
I think that's like, I've been watching a lot of movies and they do that, and I'm like, not that you should lean on that, but I'm like, man, if this $200 million movie is doing that for moving the plot forward, then
yeah,
it's hard, so hard. I'm writing a script.
Yeah. Oh, Raj is in the chat. Hey, Raj. And Charlie. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Charlie.
And Nate also doesn't remember Deadpool 2. Yeah. I remember the fighting and the big steel guy and the fire kid, and I remember some of that stuff. I don't remember that specific detail with the watch thing, but
I actually don't remember much of Deadpool 2.
the first one I feel like I remember more of. I don't know.
I feel like the second one was kind of a similar story as the first one, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of wondering, like, 5 years from now, what I'll remember from this movie.
That
And
that one shot.
Yeah, no, it'll be that one shot, but in terms of story,
Yeah.
I remember the story.
I think maybe that he got Wolverine to save his, like he was trying to replace his Wolverine. That's the biggest story beat, like the whole Cassandra Nova thing.
Yeah,
That kind of took a turn of events where he was like Professor X. Is that his name? Charles Xavier?
yeah. She's like the twin
Brother.
sister.
Yeah, this was sister. So like I wasn't expecting that, like that he could use that, and then she opens a portal for him. And the dog. Oh yeah, Nate says the dog.
Dog is great.
Yeah.
Probably the Madonna song. I remember that for sure.
Yes. Yeah. That trailer. I watched that trailer a lot. I thought they did a great job on that trailer.
Yeah, I mean, this goes back to, like, I mean, now we're going into story, but, like, is it the moments or is it the story that we remember?
I think it depends on the movie. Like this, the humor is momentary, and some of the jokes, like, you'll remember. But I think.
Because I was listening to a Michael Arndt interview, and he was like, I want the audience to remember what the feeling was like when they walked out of that movie.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's just a fun ride. That was the feeling I got from it.
Yeah, Raj is saying it's, they put the fan service together. So that's definitely.
Because structurally, I'm wondering if it was like, what do we want to see? Let's just put those things up there and let's string it together.
Yeah, well, there's I linked a few interviews, and one of them, the director was saying have you seen the Atom Project on Netflix? Yeah, so Sean Levy directed that and then was working with Ryan Reynolds, obviously, on that film.
Free Guy too.
Sorry?
Free Guy. He did Free Guy too.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay. So they have had a standing relationship then, yeah. And so Ryan Reynolds apparently asked him if he wanted to work on the next Deadpool film, and Sean said, only if we can get a good story and a script down. So I think what they didn't start with all the humor. They just tried to get a good story in, and I think that's where they were having trouble with different characters until they got Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. And then Ryan said then they, probably put his comedic pass on everything in terms of.
Because what was, like, even in the Hot Ones, they talked about that too. Like, what was, like, the core theme? It's just like, one was, like, a sort of redemption, and one was a sort of finding your worth. Like, what are those, like, human, like that I do appreciate. Like, what are those, like, core human themes?
Totally.
Like finding your own value and worth, and then the other was like, I mean, they're both on the journey of finding their worth, right?
Yeah.
But one is they're from different ends of different vantage points.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they both feel like total, like, for lack of a better word, losers, right, in their world.
Yeah. Was that Wolverine an X-Men? No.
I read somewhere that Wolverine's from, like, the X-Men animated world.
Oh, interesting. Because I was,
If it was live action, that's the world that he's from.
Okay.
Which is, like, pretty cool Easter egg.
So it's not like Spider-Verse where they have different mediums for the different universes or Earths.
No, yeah. I think he was, like, the live action version of that one.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, he's very similar to Logan, except the different age, obviously younger.
But I think that's why they had the yellow and blue suit, and he has a callback to, like, that.
Gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, what'd you think of the mask?
That was great. I mean, it's kind of cool seeing the behind the scene photos because it looks pretty good in some of the shots.
Yeah.
But sometimes the CGI kind of pulled me out of it at times.
The eyes is like, it's hard to
emote.
Yeah, like they could have done. Oh, no, I guess his eyes are white with the mask. Yeah.
Because some of the like the mask felt like it was floating, like in.
Yeah, when he first pulls it on, his eyes look like I couldn't see the white eyes or something. Or maybe I was looking at it wrong, or I was trying to look for his real eyes, and maybe they weren't. I don't know. I think I was looking in the wrong place. It looked odd, but then the second shot, it like was just clear that his eyes were white. Nate was saying, if he was the animated one, he should have been animated. So he's saying he should have been like the Spider-Verse thing, which is funny.
Funny. Yeah, I mean, this is, and now we're kind of going off on a tangent story, but it's like there's a story side of it, but then there's like this movie made $1 billion.
Right.
Like this goes back to our discussion we was talking about. It's like,
yeah. Oh. But I mean, Oppenheimer made $1 billion. I mean, that there were other things around that to make it, but that's a 4-quadrant movie in my opinion.
Oppenheimer is a 4-quadrant movie.
I think
it's a 4-quadrant movie.
Not like 5-year-olds, but like,
yeah.
I mean, if you're a parent that has like a 10-year-old kid, and you're like, this is one of the biggest moments in history. Like it's such a human story. Yeah. I don't know. Like I could see my parents taking it or taking me to that film or something if I'm like 10 to 15. But I mean, it made $1 billion, so.
I mean, Nate's saying a bad movie can be successful. I'm like, yes, I understand that, but I'm always asking people like in story. I'm like, okay, yes, it is a bad movie, in your thoughts or whatever, but it still made $1 billion. So obviously, it's still connecting, and has a certain feeling to a certain audience, you know. So at the core of it, what is that fundamentally, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the part I always ask people. I'm like, especially like we're working animation, like, yeah, like we're all like shitting on these movies, but it still made $1 billion. Like, so they're obviously doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that goes to the whole, you know, for art's sake or commerce sake, or you know, it's like some films are, you know, one or the other, or a mix. Yeah, it's tough. The whole sequel debate versus original films. It's kind of right.
I mean, so here's something interesting to bring up, because like there's Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, Deadpool 3, right? So I was listening to Christopher Nolan's like Batman trilogy documentary, and he said that the reason why like a lot of sequels don't do well is because they don't know how to elevate or escalate that story.
Okay.
He said that the solution he felt was he changed the genre to escalate the story. So for Batman Begins, it's the hero's journey, right? For Batman 2: Dark Knight, it's a heist thriller. You know, basically it's Heat, right?
Holy shit! Yeah.
And then The Dark Knight is a tale of two cities.
Okay, this blows my mind because The Joker 2 is a musical.
Yeah, they're changing the genre.
Oh my god.
It's really smart. And I was like, wow, that's
interesting. Yeah. Because it's like you're elevating it, but also pivoting. It's not the same thing. You're doing like this. Yeah. Oh, dude, that's good.
So I was like, that Nolan, very smart man. I was like, when he said that, I was like, that's very, very good.
It's a way to keep it fresh, but
yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool.
But then, do you feel like they've done that with Deadpool? I mean, I guess that they did make it. I guess they did. No, they're all buddy cop movies. I mean, Deadpool 1's still a hero's journey.
Yeah, because it was just him, really.
Yeah, but still like a buddy cop movie.
The second one was the, like, you know, getting the gang together, right? He had to team up with people. Yeah. That was a bit different for him.
This one's still a buddy cop movie again.
Yeah,
it's still this.
What'd you call it? Train, or the other movie? Trains, Planes, and Cars?
Trains, Planes, and Automobiles.
Automobiles, yeah.
But it's still, the whole point is like you have like this wacky character and the voice of reason character, right? Yeah. So I think you always have to have him against somebody. But I think they do. I guess the genre, they don't really change the genre too much. It's still like just a bigger scale of like the multiverse involved.
Yeah, Raj said Alien 2.
Hmm.
Yeah. I actually want to see Alien Romulus. I saw the trailer for it when I saw not this movie, a movie a little while back. I forgot which one it was, but I was like, hell no, I can't see this shit in theaters. This is so scary. But then I've been seeing the reception of it, and it's like people are like, it's really good, and
yeah.
And then now there's like a spin-off series, so I kind of want to go see it in theaters. It's supposed to be pretty good.
I think I will be scared to watch it, but yeah, I want to check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, are there any other movies come out this year that you want to check out then? Like, I don't even know what movies are. this year?
Let me see. Gladiator 2.
Yeah, that one I want to see.
I saw Napoleon. Oh, it was Napoleon because we saw Napoleon in theaters. I'll pull up Rotten Tomatoes.
Make fun of
so we
some
can see
movies.
upcoming movie, so everyone can follow along.
What hasn't come out yet? Up and coming.
Maybe I went the wrong section. Oh wait.
Up and coming. New all.
Yeah, so this and then coming soon. Here we go. So Gladiator 2 is one because it's Ridley Scott, so I know there's gonna be some beautiful shots in there, good action pieces. Joker 2.
Joker.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
Which again, that's a so is it a 4-quadrant film if it makes $1 billion?
No, I don't. No,
like, because my girlfriend, right, early 30s, doesn't do superhero stuff. Never looked into that. But she went and saw Joker and was like, I like this. She saw the Batman. I like this. The joke. So it's like, what?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good. How do you define? I mean, I know we had that chart, but like in feature animation, I always talk about, we want to do a 4-quadrant movie, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, how? I mean, this goes back to like even anime. I think anime is 4-quadrant.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, totally. I guess it's just. I mean, I think it's just the characters and how it's portrayed, how everything's portrayed. I don't know. Like Oppenheimer again has the director behind it. I saw the trailer for this Speak No Evil. That looked. I mean, I'm terrible at scary movies, but that looked pretty intense in the theaters.
Yeah, there's there's Disney or Transformers ones that friends have worked on.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun to see. Does anybody in chat have a movie they want to see in theaters soon? There's Transformers 1.
There hasn't been any. Yeah, that last year I felt like it was a great year of movies. There's like lots of like big publicity for movies, but this year's like been kind of slow.
Yeah. So they said that is this the only Marvel movie coming out this year, or is Captain
America comes out next year.
Okay, so this is the only Marvel film this year then.
Oh yeah, Wicked. I want to see Wicked too.
Okay.
John Chu.
There's Joker. Maybe I add.
Avatar 3 comes out this year? Does it? Really? I thought it was next year.
The Stranger and the Frog. I have to search that
Oh,
one.
Avatar 3 does come out this year.
It does.
Wow.
Does it come for Christmas?
Oh, no, it's next year. December 19th, 2025. It's next year. Wow, this year's a slow year for movies then.
Yeah, because I think they released them all last year because the strikes delayed all the summer releases.
So
now we have like a gap in releases.
Yeah.
Wait,
So they got pushed.
Nate, are you talking about this movie that came out in 1974? Or is it a remake? It must be a remake.
Probably. Nate likes to.
The Stranger and the Frog. I put a trailer. It's an Iranian movie from the 70s. Okay, I'll add it to the.
I mean, I saw Furiosa earlier this year. That was fun.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm surprised that didn't do better in theaters. I don't know.
I know. I was surprised too.
I don't get why people didn't want to go see that after the first one.
I don't think we're getting a third movie now.
Yeah, which is kind of devastating because I thought it was good. I really enjoyed Furiosa. It's a re-release. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, so I forget that there's a lot of re-releases. Like The Matrix is re-releasing, which would be freaking awesome to see in theaters.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
Babadook actually was good. I remember seeing that with friends in college. I was actually thoroughly entertained. The horror movie.
Borderlands came out. Yeah, was that good? Ooh, not get good reviews. Ooh.
Which one's that?
Borderlands.
Oh yeah, no, that was yeah, Charlie Furiosa was amazing. Yeah, that's. Have you ever played the Borderlands games?
No,
They're
I'm not.
amazing. They're great. The writing is amazing. Characters are great. It's a real bummer the movie didn't do well. I haven't seen it, so I'm not gonna say anything. But
It's what's really interesting with marketing. Like once a movie doesn't do good, like the legs of the movie just doesn't get swept underneath the rug. Like after that movie came out last week, I haven't heard anything, and you haven't heard any marketing about it. But in like Deadpool, I still see marketing. Like, they're still pushing, still pushing the movie.
yeah,
So that movie has legs for sure.
this is everything in theaters. But I've got any big AMC theater has reruns and stuff. And Nate told me about the Studio Ghibli films. So you can check that out. You can watch, like, there's one for a couple of weeks at a time. So that's definitely.
Like earlier this year, I watched like Satoshi Kon's movie in theaters.
Oh,
that
must be cool.
Because I've only seen it on DVD, and that his movies still hold up on the big screen. And I was like asking my friend, like, what is it like that makes a movie that even from that period of time like still hold up? And he's like, it's sophistication. It's just a solid movie. Like anything that's like just timeless.
There's Borderlands. I think Spirited Away might have been the only film I saw in theaters as a kid from Studio Ghibli, and it blew my mind. I remember walking out. I was like, "Oh wow, this was," my mom took me to see it. Which, like, knowing my mom, I was like, I look back at that. I'm like, wow, my mom like really knew what I wanted to see or something. I don't know. I don't remember how that went down, but like it was very cool. We both really enjoyed it. I mean, it's just a work of art,
Yeah, I mean, I got tickets for that it's like a anime that they're releasing the first 3 episodes on the big screen.
Oh,
so
that's cool.
I just like seeing anime on the big screen. So. What?
Missing
Yeah.
radio. Right now. Listen.
Wait, should we do 1917 next? That would be a fun one.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah, and then so if anybody joined late, we were talking about how we picked a movie that's in theaters, so it's kind of hard to like study and digest. And this going forward will be more of like film study and like what we can learn from it and how you can apply things to your own work. So we'll definitely do movies where you can check it out on streaming, and then everyone has like a chance to watch it.
Charlie has a movie journal that she's been documenting movies she's been watching.
Oh, that's cool. Is she just doing that on the side, or has an app that she's using?
She just I think traditionally on paper.
Oh, that's
in
cool.
her.
Right on. Cool. Well, yeah, 1917. Maybe we get a few other people on, talk about it. That'd be pretty fun. I mean, there's
Nate.
Yeah. Nate could definitely throw out some.
Yeah, everything Nate watches is on YouTube or on like Tubi.
It's not on streaming. They've thrown it up on YouTube. Yeah.
I think we should pick a Nate movie afterwards. That'd be super fun.
Yeah, because
Nate movies are so obscure. I've never seen.
Totally. Movies I haven't seen, and that's another reason why I want to do this, because I almost feel like going through the Criterion channel and just looking at these other like French, it's called French cinema films, like things from those eras, and other animes that I don't get around to watching, and
yeah. I mean, have you seen Past Lives?
Yes. Yeah.
That I wish I had the chance to meet the director, because I'd love to ask her, like, there are certain shots that feel like anime shots. I'm like, do you watch anime? Because there's certain like
what was the shot?
She does the long tracking shot like at the carousel.
Okay.
That felt like it was like something from like Hosoda. So Hosoda does that a lot. Or like she did that long camera pan when they're walking in New York down the park.
Yeah. Okay.
The dialogue just carries over as they walk and they come towards camera, and it lands right at when them at camera. Like that was just, I'm like, that's like a very like anime shot where it's using the composition to tell that story.
Yeah. That movie was very good. The shot at the end where she says bye to him.
Oh yeah, that's in a long.
Yeah. They just truck to the right, and then she's back with her husband, and you're just like, man, that was a slow walk of like, you fucked up.
Yeah. But I mean, like Hosoda does that a lot too. He does a lot of like long tracking shots. Like I mean, a lot of live action like people do too, like an old boy like influence, but
Yeah. Oh, that would be an awesome movie to do as well. Old boy. Let's break down the episodes of
Columbo.
That was another thing. I don't want to rule series off. I think it just takes more time. You know, you could do like
Even episodes.
Yeah, you could do certain episodes.
Oh man, I mean, I like this series a lot, but Barry.
Yeah.
Because Bill Hader directed, so he had a progression where I think he directed maybe an episode, and he didn't direct anything in season 1. I'm not sure. Then season 2, he directed like one episode that won an Emmy. Season 3, he directed like half the episodes. Season 4, the last one, he directed all the episodes.
Wow.
And then if you listen to the podcast, he actually breaks down every episode. So you learn a lot from his. Yeah.
Is that it's on HBO. It's like the one. Yeah. Because you sent me The Last of Us. They did that too.
Yeah.
Which is also a great resource. I want to do a video on all of the film podcasts that I listen to, and those are the good ones. That like the Deacons one. That one's amazing because it's just like it's things you would never hear. It's so technical, and some of the stories are so nuanced that I'm just like, what? Like, that's how you guys did that, or and it's just.
Yeah, the Deacons one is good. That's why I love like that talk that we did for Code 8, like having like Robbie and Jeff come on, like just to have that kind of behind the scenes talk is like super informative.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to eventually have other crew people on talk about their projects. Yeah, that'd be very cool.
Especially like once our other projects come out like next year, to talk more about it because I feel like the stuff we're working on more exciting things these days.
Yeah.
Cool. Shall we?
Yeah. Well, we can wrap this up. I appreciate you coming on. This is fun to.
Oh, it's always anytime, man. So
chat,
fun.
Hang out, and start a little film club thing, and
great. Rob, Charlie, and Nate.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone that hung out.
Sleeves here. Nice. Cool. All right, man.
Yep.
I'll see you next time.
Cool. Have a good one, Andy. Bye. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna end the stream here. Again, appreciate Andy for coming on and talking about Deadpool Wolverine. So this will publish straight onto my YouTube channel, so you can just rewatch anything and share it around. I also have, you can see Andy's Instagram handle at the bottom there, so be sure to check out his Instagram and his work. And yeah, we'll figure out what movie we watch next and who we bring on and talk about it. And feel free to leave comments in the description. I'll keep checking the chat over the next week or so when people get a chance to rewatch this. And what's the one shot you remember most from Deadpool and Wolverine, and what were the aspects around that shot that you liked most? So, if you could try and, I know it's in theaters, so that makes it harder, but if you can remember stuff and like think about what you learned from it from a filmmaking standpoint, that's the idea behind this podcast. So all right, guys, I'm going to cut the stream, but have a good evening.